Travis Wayne Goodsell. Yesterday I exposed the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as terrorists. That video, combined with the weekend videos, the Dear God 4-hour video, exposing the Brigham Young fraud, fleeing the country, and then the attack, cyber terrorist attack, Friday night. All combined as a retaliation by YouTube. And if they had just left me alone, the other 2 videos that I then did would not have been made and posted on YouTube. Out of my 10.2K videos, the majority of them would not have been made had I been left alone. Much of what I do is a direct, open rebellion to their abusive behavior of me. And all they had to do was leave me alone. There is a cause and effect that goes on, and they know that I rebel. This is from my childhood. I am taught by the church about Lucifer's plan of happiness to take away agency. And so I know damn well when somebody's taking away my agency, they're using Lucifer's plan of happiness on me. Lucifer's the bad guy. And so I rebel, as the scriptures teach me to rebel. And yeah, I've been severely punished. The courts call it irreparable damage. It is incalculable, the amount of restitution that the church is needed to repay the damage they've done to me. Nonetheless, they still keep threatening me to shut up, and I don't. And the videos that I come out with in response cause further damage and exposure of this church and its evil. And all they had to do was leave me alone. You can even see it by watching my channel from the beginning. I'm talking about how I'm teaching you Paleo-Hebrew, I'm teaching you Egyptian, teaching you philosophy of Mormonism, and all the church had to do was leave me alone. When I found out on the 4th of November 2016 about the total solar eclipse over the United States of America, all the church had to do was leave me alone. And they couldn't even do that. I had not found the receipt tied to the church in what they did to me in 2008. And so I wasn't attacking the church. I was just going over the gift and power of Revelator for you and how it applied to the government. All they had to do was leave me alone, and I would have focused on Trump, warning about what's coming. 2020 would have come and gone. What happened? It was there. The attempted coup of the government. What's going on? Nope. It ended up being a different scenario. I ended up having the key of Moses during 2020. Because the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints could not leave me alone. And so I ended up doing church history. And all they had to do was leave me alone. They couldn't do it. And so every 10.2K video is a direct consequence of my open rebellion to being threatened to shut up. Bad enough that you can't murder me. You only murdered my mom. You failed to murder me. You destroyed my brother, but you couldn't destroy me. Even though you did destroy me financially, but you shut up my brother. And in the process, shut up the lawyer that he paid $2,000 in a down payment for. They got $2,000 and they didn't have to do anything. Sounds like a good deal for them. I see the fox still down there today. Has yet to flip over. And so, yesterday, in a direct bleep you, OAKS, I exposed him. That was a video that got lost in the pile. But because of not being left alone, it got bumped up to be posted last night. President DALLIN Harris OAKS is unfit to be president, not just because he sucks at his job, but because he is literally mentally retarded. He has been drugged his whole lifetime at such a severity that he is incapable of performing any job functions. It's not just the tardive dyskinesia that exposes him. It's his multi-personality disorder. And yeah, it's supposed to be disassociative, blah, 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 crap. It's psychology. I've warned you about psychology. They came from Nazi Germany. They're thanking their American liberators. You've got the leader of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who's not just old and near death, but he's mentally retarded. See, Monson, while he was on his deathbed, had dementia and diabetes. He can't function. You can't have a leader of a church who can't lead. This church refuses to do what Brigham Young set it up to have done in such instances. The church even had another more pleasant transition for those of the 70. to thank them for their service, they can put them on emeritus status. It's a retirement. But they won't do it for any of the apostles. It's till death do they part. And that results in some very bad things that causes concern among members. Now, granted, that's part of what they want. They want to test the loyalty of members. Because remember, 4-hour video. They're not true. And that's the whole loyalty test. Is will you be loyal to a fake, criminal fraud? Will you really be that stupid? It is illegal. It doesn't exist. And they've got you believing it's so true. And they've got you attacking me, thinking you're gonna shut me up. Guess what movie I watched yesterday? You probably don't know because it's rated R. I'm guessing. I don't worship the god R. It was Running Man, the reboot. I saw the tribute to the Dominator. Again, I guess he became president. Hilarious. It was awesome. But yep, a post-apocalyptic society in which the utopian principle of Thomas More kicks in. When you have a government that corrupts its people from its youth and then punishes them when they're adults for what they've been predisposed to do, creating a survival of the fittest society for which you have to perform in the Running Man in order to see if you have the chance to break out. And they purposely rig it so nobody breaks out. And 1984 is involved with Big Brother. Yep. Church does not want people watching those kinds of shows because it exposes them. That's the type of society they have planned if they get their kingdom back. And all YouTube had to do was leave me alone, and I would have never exposed it. The Quorum of the 12 Apostles put in the president of the church, even though the Articles of Incorporation is always the president of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles who becomes the president of the church. But because they're not a actual religion, there's no scriptures behind any of what they do. It's just a corporate board who puts in the CEO. And thus, like all corporate boards, this corporate board can remove the CEO for dereliction of duty, for being unfit to perform the duties of office. Brigham Young set it all up. Heber J. Grant continued it. As a result, the whole corporate board are also neglect of their duties. They are giving aid and comfort to keep DALLIN, Harris, OAKS, who is mentally retarded and therefore unfit to be the head of the church, to lead. They therefore all are unfit, giving aid and comfort. They are the only ones who can remove them, other than the federal government stepping in and shutting down the church again. There's no church to shut down this time. Oh no. Just the criminal operation, for which Rico made a pretty picture again for you. And all they had to do was leave me alone. That's all they had to do. And so, Rico, criminal operations, and then mental retardation, multi-personality disorder. Because if Jesus is speaking through OAKS, I want nothing to do with this deity. Jesus is murdering Mormons. Jesus is stealing Mormons' property. Jesus is taking away agency of Mormons. Jesus is destroying people's lives. What kind of Jesus would do this? Oh, right. Lucifer's plan of happiness. So again, we're going to repeat for you one of the 5 death threats from OAKS's mouth in last year's Easter message, which failed to produce results. Trump? Hello? Do you have performance anxiety, Trump? What happened? So, yep, 5 death threats by the church with OAKS as president again this year. Oh, there's Trump. He finally got it up. Good job, Trump. Trump. So he quotes from half a scripture. I check that scripture, find the other half, and then find the context in verse 1, because that's how the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints taught me to do it when I was in seminary. This may have even been a scripture mastery. And so it talks about a shepherd over sheep, and about those who are not authorized to be a shepherd. Verse 1, Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, it requires a key for authority, but climbeth up by some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. The sheep belong to the shepherd. They're his. If you are not the shepherd, you're stealing from the shepherd. You have no authority over the sheep. Verse 10. The rest of the story that OAKS left out. The thief cometh not, but for to steal, and to murder, and to destroy. So if you're not the shepherd, you're there to harm the sheep. You are not authorized. You are therefore lying to the sheep, trying to deceive them into following your voice rather than the word of Scripture for the true voice of the shepherd. And as a result of listening to the false shepherd, you get robbed, you get murdered, you get destroyed. So, is the church robbing you? Yes, tithing for priestcraft. If you had believed in the word, followed the word of the good shepherd of Scripture, you would not have been deceived by the false shepherds of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. If you had followed the word of the good shepherd of Scripture, you would know that the 12 apostles have no authority to touch tithing. They don't have the authority of the key to the door of the sheepfold. They don't have the authority of the key of the door of the sheepfold for anything. Not the temple, not even missionary work. That was amened a long time ago. Not for patriarchal blessings. Nothing. None of the priesthood. They don't have the keys. And so they, by being able to deceive you as false shepherds, have been destroying your lives. Like I said, they've done lots of destructions, lots of murders, lots of thefts. To those who have failed me, to murder me, to destroy me on behalf of the church. See, even posting that video last night, I saw what you were doing, YouTube. They were about to deny me access to video viewing again. And then it was like, oh, oops, we're not supposed to do this. So is it the FBI or is it Google? You can't touch me, because anybody who has direct ties with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints through money, through employment, through membership, get the church in trouble because of RICO. The church has a target on my head with their troublemaker file of me, number 36434. Therefore, anything done to me by anybody tied to this church gets the church in trouble. And seriously, you have to commit crimes to prove the church is true? That you honestly think that shutting me up proves the church is true, huh? You can't defend your position logically, and And so you defend your position with crime? You're not of the right shepherd. You are false. The scriptures utilize this in multiple places. Another one is in Jeremiah chapter 23. This time, instead of shepherds, they're called pastors. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Lord. The shepherds are supposed to feed the sheep temporally. Supposed to read them bedtime stories. Supposed to cut their hair. Can't let them be hippies. Hippie sheep. They need food. They need open air to graze for their eating. They need to be protected so that they don't get murdered, they don't get robbed, they don't get destroyed. It is in your best interest as the shepherd or the pastor to make sure the sheep prosper and are healthy and grow to full adulthood and have happy families with little baby sheep. It is not in your best interest to destroy them, to threaten them into obedience, to take away their agency, because then they're going to be black sheep. They'll rebel. They'll grow teeth. But this in Jeremiah is a prophecy that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will be corrupt and be that stupid in neglecting the membership. How do I know that? I don't see it here. Really? So, verse 5, behold, the days come, I will raise up unto David. Does that not sound familiar? Oh, right, you don't study the word. Those who follow the word know the voice of the true shepherd. This is the Jewish Christ. And it ain't Jesus. Jesus ain't Jewish. Jesus is Christian. You can't impose Jesus upon the past. That would be history negationism. That's the worst evil that man can be. To erase, replace, and deny the existence, origin of the Jews. They're talking about a human being with mortal human parents. And wouldn't you know it, both the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith talk about that very same guy and say he's going to be a Mormon. That's how I can say that this is about Mormons. And so the man like Moses. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. Moses. But the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel. Hey, Mormons are the house of Israel. Out of the north country, and from all countries whither they had been driven by the pastors that destroyed and scattered Mormons. Placing them in bondage to Jesus. And so I keep repeating over and over again. Me as Moses before Pharaoh Oaks. Let my Mormons go. Bring home the missionaries. And Oaks keeps saying, no, I will not let them go. Shouldn't it be their choice? Kind of helps to be honest with them first. Not lie. Get the church office building to change the words of the manuals. Making sure Mormons won't read the word. 103 verse 15 to 18. Behold, I say unto you, the redemption of Zion must needs come by power. Therefore, I will raise up unto my people a man who shall lead them like as Moses led the children of Israel. The Exodus story is not literal history, it is a similitude of the future Mormon. Seer, prophet, revelator, translator, spirit. For Mormons are the children of Israel, the seed of Abraham, must needs be led out of bondage. That's the word Oaks used. Nelson used yoked. By power and with a stretched out arm. And as your fathers were led at the first, even so shall the redemption of Zion be. Is the word true or not? I can bear testimony. Real, physical, scientific method, testimonial witness. Can you? No. All you got is that feelings that the church deceived you with. That's why you can't argue against me. You have to commit crimes. You didn't run the scripture tests. You got deceived by the false shepherd who's stealing from you, murdering you, and destroying you with lies and deceptions. Lucifer's plan of happiness. Symbol, the inverted pentagram on the doors of the keystones of the Salt Lake Temple, the headquarters. The doctrines of Lucifer taught within. Benson taught us all about keystones. If you ignore the Book of Mormon word, you have removed the keystone. You can't replace it because you put in another keystone. You're just calling it the Book of Mormon. You know, like Jesus. You can name them whatever you want, but it's the doctrines that you preach that identify your true God. So as the leader of the church, they are supposed to follow the word of the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith. And so, every single bishop is supposed to have a storehouse for the poor. And so with 31,000 congregations, let's get the actual number from the pretty picture that I made and showed you regularly. From section 42, the word of the Doctrine and Covenants, which the same section 42 Joseph Smith tells you, the word of Scripture is the law to govern the church. Not spiritual witness feelings. Do you not know the difference between word and feelings? Nope. And so, because you can't argue this, you have to commit crimes against me and get all emotional. Yeah, I gave you emotions yesterday. Section 42, verses 28 to 34. A storehouse for the poor in every ward. $31,676. And only 141 storehouses. Are they following the word of section 42, verses 28 to 34? Nope. But they're not supposed to touch tithing anyway, so they're still not following it. Because it tells you the council that is supposed to be in charge of tithing. They don't have the right keys. Therefore, they don't have authority to touch tithing, which is for the poor. That's why it's not for the poor in this church. Wrong key, prophets. In fact, only the head of the church is to be the seer, prophet, revelator, and translator. He's supposed to teach the Melchizedek priesthood how they too can become those, but church isn't true. So yes, I have the keys. My word, if you hadn't noticed, comes directly from the Scriptures, even when they needed to be translated correctly. Because I got all the gifts and powers too. No duh. So I'm not just criticizing the church. I am the one who's authorized to lead you. I am the Good Shepherd. My voice are what my sheep know and follow. If you don't believe that I am your Good Shepherd, you're following false shepherds that are stealing from you, destroying you, and murdering you. And you keep following them. They have in their articles of incorporation the way to transfer authority directly to me so that I can save your lives. Assuming that you listen to the true word of the shepherd. Run the test. You won't do it. You're in full rebellion mode. Oh yeah, we can be rebellious too, Travis. You can only commit crime. I used my words. And in the words of the United States Constitution, in the words of OAKS, to expose him, and the tardive dyskinesia of OAKS, to expose him. The psychologists destroyed him, and then they placed him at the head of this church. Isn't that hilarious? To thank their American liberators. The Illuminati infiltrate, rise up in number, rise up in rank, take over leadership, destroy and scatter. So if the church had obeyed Section 42, there wouldn't be a need for the Utah food banks. Utah would be the only state in the union without food banks. The government would be coming to us and saying, wow, you have a storehouse for every single ward? Wow, there are no poor in Utah? How can that be? Nope. Instead, they're the typical bad examples of a poor economy. So Utah Food Bank need food assistance themselves. Yep, feeding a man a fish will never work, because even the food bank requires a fish in order to continue to exist. And if there are no more fish to be given to the food bank, then they don't have a fish to give to others in need. A very poor economic system that was only by the consequences of the failed economy that the legislature refused to regulate. By orders of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So, high gas prices are increasing costs, not just of gas and oil, because there are businesses that require gas and oil for the transportation of their goods and services, for other uses of their goods and services. So if those gas and oil prices go up, those companies that depend on gas and oil equipment, tools, transportation, etc., they then have to raise the prices of their goods and services in order to make back the money from what they have to spend on gas and oil, so they don't go in the red. And so thus our cost of living goes up, 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 and we get more than just an egg of great price. We get a bacon of great price. A tomato of great price, a potato of great price, a carrot of great price. So then pretty soon, oh no, if we pay our tithing to Jesus for his free atonement, we're not going to have enough money for all the other necessities that we have, let alone our wants to go up into the mountains and die from the avalanches. Yeah, your quality of life decreases. You then have to make sacrifices. You have to cut things out, pay for cheaper stuff. The poor already know about this. Those who have been on SNAP know that soda pop is cheaper than healthy liquids. And So in order to expand their SNAP as far as it can go, because it's their primary source. Oh, it's not a supplement for the poor? Huh. They purchase soda pop. Oh no! The legislature of Utah has banned soda pop from SNAP? And didn't raise the amount of SNAP so that they could purchase healthy alternatives? Huh. By their fruits we shall know them, huh? Sexual Misconduct Task Force in Utah are now going to begin to neglect complaints. That's what you mean when you say that you're going to lessen the number of complaints. We all know this. The unemployment rate. Yeah, how many of them are homeless? Oh, none of them? Because you've made sure that they don't qualify for unemployment insurance? Huh. Well, that's a tricky sleight of hand that you've pulled. Every single homeless person needs to be counted in the unemployment numbers because they're unemployed. You are deceiving the people. And so, same with sexual misconduct. If you aren't taking an actual stat of the sexual misconduct, then you are neglecting their complaints. Changing definitions to say, oh, I'm sorry, that sexual misconduct does not qualify. We got to get our numbers up this month. We got to show that we're baptizing. So, remember Sharpiegate? Trump would use a Sharpie to alter words, to say something else, and even altered the direction of a hurricane with his magic Sharpie. The hurricane is going across Florida into the Gulf to Georgia. It's not going up to the Carolinas. And he threatened Noah, you must do what I tell you. We can't do that. This is a storm, a hurricane, and you want us to warn the wrong people of it? Well, now we have AI, where humans can program it to project where they want it to be projected. Ding, 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 ding. Yep. Not just altering words, not just altering pictures, not just altering movies, but altering the paths of hurricanes and tornadoes so that people won't know what's coming. Or they think it's coming, and it doesn't come. But Trump said it came. Trump said it destroyed us. Yeah, he don't need a Sharpie anymore. Just like Joseph Smith never stopped needing the rocks in the hat. Didn't need them anymore. You believe that, huh? Took out the Knights Templar lore. And so, yeah, people died from the tornadoes. OAKS neglected his duty as the shepherd to save those in Oklahoma. and a Mormon mom and her daughter died. I was already pissed. So yeah, I'm posting it. OAKS is to blame. Not just for not having a bishop storehouse for them, to store up food, to hunker down in a bunker, but also to warn them of the danger that was coming, to get into a bunker for safety so that they're not exposed to the tornado, so that they would live. That's on you, OAKS. You failed them. Because you lied. Told them to stay where they are, not gather them to Zion, not gather the missionaries home. Armageddon has begun. And you're ignoring and neglecting the Mormons. Every death is on you. I warned last week, because I did a video, yet again reminding everybody, I go to Venture every Friday to check the coming week. Wouldn't you know it? Tornado. I saw it. I warned. And nobody listened to the voice of the Good Shepherd. And a Mormon mom and her daughter are dead because you didn't hearken to the true voice of the Good Shepherd. So this is the problem of this church. I warned Monson in advance. Uh-oh, Monson. Hearken unto me. Uh-oh. Bye-bye. Nelson. Oh, Nelson. Hearken unto me. Bye-bye. Holland. Bye-bye. That was an extra added bonus. And here we go again with OAKS. He's not listening either. But certainly we'll do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result this time. That ought to prove the church is true. And so not only are we having problems with gas and oil, with the price increases, this is also causing a historical record breaker of oil disruption. Never has it been this bad. Huh. All before Easter. Hurry up, Trump. OAKS gave us the 5 death threats repeated this year. Before Easter. We can't be resurrected unless we're dead. Hurry up, Trump. And so another historical record of people pulling out their 401ks. So stocks fell all day yesterday. Till the very end when the suckers, who are only thousandaires, thought that they were gonna buy low and make off like bandits. I'm willing to bet that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the major stockholder that was pulling out their stocks all day yesterday too, are going to pull out that extra boost that you just gave them. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe they'll puff up the stock market again. Maybe everything's all better now. Everything's fixed. Nothing to see here. No Armageddon. Jesus fails to show again. Putin is now offering oil to Europe. Oh, what a good guy he is. Europe banned Putin's oil because of his attacks on Ukraine. And so, yeah, working with Trump to trick you guys. You honestly thought Putin was now the bad guy? Suckers. Trump's causing the war in Iran, is destroying the oil industry, and thus, oh, Putin, help us. You're our only hope. Suckers. Yep. And so Trump destroying Venezuela and Cuba, as Cuba is about to be destroyed because of their lack of oil. Are other countries now going to go without oil and get destroyed? Oh no. So yep, Putin is now putting on the Ritz. To cut off Europe in advance of his attack. Dun, 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 dun. So, it wasn't too long ago that when we were now required to have the brand new airport IDs to make going through the airport a lot faster. And now we have an airport crisis. You're not seeing what's going on? You're not seeing the bigger picture, huh? Not seeing the cause and effect that they're all plotting in advance to cause upon you. And then tragic news. A group of kids played a prank on the teacher that caused his death. Yeah, pranks are so funny, aren't they? Hey teacher, do the Tide Pod challenge. Everybody's doing it. This time it won't hurt. Everybody will make you cool, blah, 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 crap. No, it wasn't the Tide Pod challenge. But that's what the kids are exposed to, are the TikTok death challenges. Defy death and be popular. ChatGPT, kill yourself, kid. Words of not true shepherds. And people fall for it. People have been lied to from their childhood to follow the false prophets, the false shepherds, false pastors of the sheep. So you become sheeple. All we like sheep, to be deceived and destroyed. And as a result, you murder other people. They've been charged. It's an assault. It's like hazing incidences at sororities or fraternities. You can't do that. You can't put people's lives in danger. Remember, agency, life, liberty, property. Take it away and you've got Lucifer's plan of happiness. So my cousin Michael, he's a Bowen, as a child had an incident with a rubber band attack. got one in the eye, caused a level of blindness in his eye. It is permanently damaged. When he got married, during my mission, he stayed in my bedroom. I got home and things were messy, Michael. And then you come and stay with me. Well, actually, no, that was when I took off to Canada. Okay, now I'm confused about the time chronology. Loki, can you help me out here? No, not the male Loki. Lady Loki. But regardless of any of that, I'm staying with him at Rick's. And it was before my mission that I was with him at Rick's. There we go. There we go. So yes, he did stay in my room for his honeymoon. My bedroom was the honeymoon suite. Hey ladies, honeymoon suite. No, thank you. So before my mission at Rick's, we shared a cell block in Ensign Hall on the top floor. Or was it the third floor? I think it was I don't know. It's been too long. I think it was the top floor. Yeah. Because when Tricia Wingett called me up in the middle of the night one morning and asked me to go walking in the blizzard on the train tracks with the little red-headed girl. I came back, had to sneak in the back door, go all the way up to the top, and went right into the shower to get all of the ice crystals off my body. It was worth it to be with the little red-headed girl. Trisha thought it was her that I wanted. So naive, girl. I was using you to get to her. So yeah, she lied to get rid of me, to send me off on a mission. You never got it. It wasn't about you. It was about the little red-headed girl. I'm shy. But Michael had told me about how he doesn't do pranks like those teens did, because people get hurt. People don't want to trust you. They don't want to be around you if you're just going to prank them to take away their agency. And so Michael thought he had invented the good pranking, where you still play with people's minds, but it's a happy thing for them. You're giving them stuff rather than taking away. And so he used as one of his examples, if a person has a bag of chips that's their favorite, that you sneak in after they munch on it during a chick flick or a Bruce Willis film. They put it back up in the cupboard, and you go, you take it down, and you get a new bag, and you put in a little extra into the bag. And see how long they go of eating it before they realize this is never ending. long have I had this bag? Good gaslighting. Because when they find out that you've been pranking them, they're not going to get angry with you because you demonstrated love. It's their bag of chips, of their favorite, and you've been giving it to them behind their back. Not wanting to take credit for it, just secretly giving them agency. So yeah, we don't do that in our society. That is not considered social media friendly, movie worthy. America's Funniest Home Videos came out. I watched as it transitioned into only guys getting kicked in the crotch. America's Funniest Kick in the Crotch Videos. Here's the greatest hits. And that's when I stopped watching it. I didn't want to watch that. I would then go on to do it to the pre-scorm advisor during volleyball one week. Oops. Oops. Yeah, I hurt people. At PE in high school, I branded a guy Spalding on his chest. They banned volleyball because of me. Oops. Oops. So no, it's not funny. It's very painful. So I want nothing to do with it. So yeah, growing up, I had to stay away from people. People get hurt. I don't want to hurt people. So, alrighty. Church isn't true. Mormons are going to follow who they're going to follow, but there are consequences. You've made your choice, haven't you?